Okay. All right. All right. All right. Hear me out. Hear me out. I know what you're thinking. There's no way this random YouTube guy could possibly even come close to creating something as good as Undertale's soundtrack. And I agree. So let's not do that per se. Let's not try and be as great as Toby Fox. Let's just try and do our best. So, if you haven't heard of Undertale, where have you been? I don't know what to tell you. You don't play video games. You don't talk to people who play video games. I don't know what to tell you. Undertale is like an RPG adventure game storybook. I don't know how to explain it in a way that's not giving away too much stuff, as if the game hasn't been spoiled to hell and back and beyond at this point. But there's one thing that is an undisputed fact. You have heard Undertale's music at some point, and it slaps. That's a guarantee. I just so happen to be a big fan of this game, and it was on my list of my favorite games for the longest time. I think it's, it's still there. It's definitely one of my favorite games. But regardless, the music really brings it together, and I'm going to take it upon myself to ruin that and try and do it myself. Let's get it. All right. Let's do this. So we got... I'm going to go down the list of sounds. We got the... So, pianos. They're the same. They got a lot... Everything in this has a lot of reverb. You got a FM flute with some vibrato on it. You got we got some strings, some typical strings, and then we have this NES patch. We got some bass. This one just hits hard, like it's a stab almost. And this one, if you hold it longer, it gets more and more gritty. I don't let it get too out of control because it doesn't need to be. Then I got a very simple drum beat here. If it sounds weird, that's because it's in 3/4 time. We're doing a waltz here. I took a lot of inspiration, a lot of inspiration this time because I felt like I haven't been hitting the mark lately. I kind of, yes and no. I've hit the mark, but I've also put so much of my own spin on it that it's debatable whether or not it's going to remind somebody of this particular thing. But I know, as a matter of fact, this is going to remind people of Undertale. I know this. I worked very tirelessly to get it to be as close to the source material as I could get it. Got a little bit of a pretty simple stuff here. Okay, so I want to talk about how I formulated this song. So basically, Toby likes to do this thing where he creates a melody or a repeated phrase multiple times throughout almost the entire thing, and he's able to scale it up and down and use it to his abilities. My bad. If you can't tell where this is going, then it's, as you can see, is taking a lot of inspiration from Ruins. I didn't want to do a battle theme or anything really. I do, but I feel like this is guaranteed. This is from Undertale. Later on, some bass comes in. We'll see how that pans out. I don't want to give away too much, but there's a lot of layers. So as you can see here, there's basically these things are all almost doing the same thing. You got the grand, you got the flute doing the same thing. Toby likes his layers. Then you got a section where the NES comes in, and then it loops back. And I made particularly sure that the loop point was similar to how it was before, or in the source material, where it sort of ends, but it ends in a graceful kind of like start over way. I don't know how to explain. It's not necessarily a loop. It is, but it's not necessarily like a loop like you think it is. Like if I was going to loop this, I would just play this over and over, this section. However, that's not what happens. You end up going back to the very beginning. There wasn't a whole lot of like instrument making or anything like that. Just a lot of reverb. Yeah, just a lot of reverb and a lot of playing the piano for this one. I just wanted to get into the spirit of playing a song start to finish, and this is sort of what I came up with. I know it's very similar to Ruins, but you know, this is kind of the point of the whole thing. I think it's different enough to warrant it. I did end up calling this song something this time. I didn't actually call the other ones. I just called them like, you know, so and so type beat or whatever. But I called this one Forest of Familiar Dreams. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. Hey, welcome to the end of the video. This was a massive learning experience for me, just because I usually make the song from the middle and expand outward, but for this song I sort of started at the beginning and then went towards the end in a more analytical way of listening to the source material. And I think I may have gotten too close to the sun on this one, and sort of made it into a copy almost, but there's an undeniable fact that this will remind you of what the source material is, and I think I've achieved that goal. So either way, I'm proud of it, and I hope you guys like it. And like always, I'll put it in a playlist so that you guys can hear it on its own, and you don't have to hear me talk about all the other stuff in and out of this whole scenario. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. Later.